myth does not mean falsehood. First and foremost, it's time to deconstruct any existing ideas you have about what the words myth and mythology actually mean. Mythology is an entirely modern, or medieval, word first coined by the monk John Lydgate in his 15th century poem Troy book through the combination of the Greek logos, meaning word, and mythos, meaning story. Yes, that's right, the origin of our term myth comes from a Greek word that simply meant story. A concept that in itself does not equal fictitious. Rather, what we now refer to as Greek mythology are the stories of important figures in ancient Greek religion and, often, history. While the actual historical accuracy of individual stories is and was up for debate, even among the ancients themselves, the fact is, the deities and heroes they followed were of huge cultural significance both in how the Greeks understood themselves and the world around them. There is no one, true, version of a myth. If you think modern writers and artists enjoy retelling Greek mythology, then just wait until you hear about the ancient Greeks themselves. Not only are there countless unique narratives within the surviving written material, but there are also numerous examples of different authors framing existing myths in new ways. And there are reasons for this. One is related to geography. Ancient Greece was not a homogeneous society, it was made up of various city-states, which although they shared a language, had distinct cultural identities. Athens, for example, might attribute deeds to their mythical king Theseus that other states credited to the hero Heracles. The same thing is true of local cult variations. These are religious stories after all. Secondly, the period we term antiquity did not just exist in a state of stasis for hundreds of years. Things changed. Myths were reinterpreted and retold according to contemporary values, whether for political or personal reasons. That doesn't mean there weren't consistencies or roots to these stories, or that we can reasonably imagine any version of a myth we like and claim the ancient Greeks believed it. It does, however, speak to the nature of classical myths as changeable and adaptable. Greek mythology never went out of fashion. Particularly in Europe where these stories first emerged, there was never really a period in which the myths of Greece or Rome were entirely forgotten. During the reign of Charlemagne, in the 8th century, the education of boys at monasteries included reading classical works like Homer's Odyssey. Among the plays of Shakespeare there are numerous references to Greek and Roman myth, including a retelling of Troilus and Cressida, and in the 1800s Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was subtitled The Modern Prometheus. Today we have God of War, Wonder Woman and Disney's Hercules, just to name a few examples of contemporary classical reception. While their popularity may have waxed and waned, and the reasons behind each resurgence have been both positive and questionable, it seems safe to say that classical mythology has always been and still is firmly ensconced in popular imagination. Greek myths have been part of Western culture since they were first set down by the ancients and, as there is no one definitive account